Hello, everyone. So it's the top of the hour, and welcome everyone to another weekly webinar of RigER that is hosted today on February 27th, 2020, live out of our studio in Calgary. So today's topic for the webinar is actually how to run oilfield rentals using RigER as a platform for such a surface equipment like light towers, generators, and other. But first things first, my name is Nikolai, and you can see my picture right here on the screen. And I wanted to make sure that everybody who's joined us today can see and hear us. While the rest of you are grabbing a cup of coffee or just logging in while we're waiting, I just wanted to run a couple of slides to make sure that we communicate what's going on with RigER, just the latest news, and how to stay connected with us. So LinkedIn, to those of you who are not part of that network, is the best way for us and to communicate to you and to hear from you guys. So please do join our LinkedIn page by following us. And that's how you will be really up to date on what's going on at RigER. And we are really thankful to all the participants of the social media world who are joining and following us right now. So the membership of our followership is growing, and we're glad to see the numbers going up, and would like to see even more. So go ahead and start following us on LinkedIn. So today's agenda. So as I've just announced, that today's topic is rentals of the light towers and other service equipment and how to manage it in RigER. So the main speakers for the day will be Michael, whom many of you may know, and Gleb, whom also many of you may know, and CEO and VP of Operations that are in charge of the implementation of our system and our clients. So after the quick intro, we'll dive right into the price management of the surface equipment. What does asset management mean in RigER also will be another topic, and then we will then explore how does the surface equipment rentals run in RigER. We'll also touch on the inspections, repairs, and maintenance, and show you how to see, read, and generate some of the special reports. So again, while we're just ramping up today's presentation, or building up to that, rather, I wanted to do a quick intro of RigER to those of you who are new to our platform and would like to learn a little bit more. So it's not going to be a demo, it's going to be a few slides, and I wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page. So our family is growing. We have more and more clients and members of our team as well. So here's, you can see a good picture. We have a view. We have growing, upcoming generation of our families here on the picture. So we are a client-focused and product-centered company, so to speak. So the core focus areas for us to make sure that when we operate in the oil field, we do promote and enable companies to run the paperless enterprises. We do make sure that everybody is able to use the system to the best of their requirements and set up. So custom configuration is key for most of our clients, and integrations is another thing that we are building on our product on, and we're happy to demonstrate it to our existing and new clients, how to integrate with other systems and how RigER does that for them. A quick intro of where we are. So, and it's an interesting update, again, to those of you who haven't been to the latest couple of webinars. So we are expanding network of our service to make sure that there is the closest and the fastest network to our clients. Although we're originally from Calgary, now we have an office in Houston with the support personnel right there on the ground if need be, to help our customers to onboard or resolve any issues. We have an extended support now in Europe and North America as well to ensure that our clients are getting almost round-the-clock access to the resources. And our service are also distributed in North America right now, with some of them now being tested in Europe as well. So we're a growing company with a focus in North America, but being supported globally. So what is our product family? So this is a newer intro to those of you who've been or have not been with us lately and learned about our system and what it can do for our clients. But generally, what you see is here is typical rig and the kinds of equipment and the types of equipment that can be provided to service a rig. And in this slide, I wanted to highlight that RigER supports all kinds of equipment with different industry applications in how you can track and organize your operations in the services and rentals business. So from the service equipment to the pressure control, flow back, waste management, and all the way down to the downhole tool. So you can use RigER to track almost any kind of equipment that relates to the oilfield rig operations. A special slide on which I wanted to thank every one of our current client and a future client. Not all of them are presented on this slide. We just couldn't fit everyone, but most of the recent ones are presented on this slide. So thank you to all of you who've been with us throughout these 7+ years now, under the 8th year, and we're looking forward to even growing bigger and bigger our community. So we're here for you, and thank you very much for being with us. So on that note, I wanted to pass the microphone to the first speaker of today's presentation, Gleb Kolbit, who will talk a little bit about the price management in RigER, and then we'll dive into the rentals part of the software management.
Thank you very much, Nikolai, for this introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to hear you and to see you here participating in our webinar today. And without further ado, let me just dive in the configuration of the RigER software designed specifically for generators and light towers companies that operate with the surface equipment, including definitely other equipment like trash trailers, porta potties, dumpsters, etc. But we are focusing today on the light towers and generators, as this is one of the most common equipment that is used in the oil field. And despite the fact that RigER is pretty big and complex system in terms of the different modules and features and different visibility settings, permissions, users, setups. So we are, and you may already know that RigER system is highly configurable and customizable. So we usually customize the software or configure that properly to meet your specific needs or requirements in terms of the oilfield operations. And now we're proud to present you the special configuration for the light towers and generators companies. And I will start with the price management. So some of the features that I'll show you today will be probably familiar to you already, because it's the legacy of our whole RigER platform, but it's configured specifically for the companies with the main assets as generators and light towers. So price management module in RigER allows you to set the general prices for all the clients that you operate with across the board, or you also have an option to have a price agreement, which is actually a specific client-specific document. But just staying on this slide, I want to highlight that price lists and price agreements are preset documents that you use, that you set just once a time, and then you use it in all the jobs that you will have with your customers. So price documents are connected with your rental service agreements, and information is transferred directly from one document to another without any manual enterings. In price lists and price agreements, you have an option to set the division prices, meaning that different customers operating in different areas or types of business can be divided by divisions. Also, you are able to apply discounts to the price lists and price agreements, and have different rental periods, meaning weekly, monthly charges for your clients. So as I already said, price agreement is the customer and division-specific document. So you set up a price list for a particular company, and also you can limit the time frame within which you provide these prices to your customer. So when you do this price agreement as the client price list, every single job that you will have in this time frame will be taking these prices from the price agreement. And also the next level of the price management you may have is the rental service agreement itself, or we sometimes call it job pricing, because you can set the prices for a particular job. Even though that you may have a standard price list and price agreement for the customer, you are also able to set prices on a job-specific circumstance. Now let's talk about the asset management for the light towers and generators companies, how they can operate their rental fleet. So along with the standard rental items as the serialized rental units, we also can build the combo units in the system, which will accommodate different components. So the combo unit type of record in RigER is something that you can pre-build and name as wherever you'd like to name it, and then you can assign components on the job level. So you will be able to pick the components, and components can be individual rental items, serialized or even sometimes non-serialized, and you can assign these components to the job when you dispatch the equipment. And also you have an ability to swap the components of the combo units throughout the job. For example, if something has been broken down or just went down, you can replace the component with a good one, and you will still have this combo unit at site, and the system will still track this equipment as dispatched to the customer. Another type of equipment and rental units that you can build in the system is assembly, or the document is called assembly list. That is pretty similar to the combo unit, because that also combines different components, but the assembly unit has its own unit number, so it's individual assembly unit in the system that has, at the same time, that has components with unit numbers. So you can use the assembly list for the multiple jobs, so you don't need to combine these components every time that you want to use this assembly. You pre-build this assembly list and you use it in the multiple jobs. And it definitely has its own price. So whenever you invoice your customer, this company will see assembly unit on their invoice as the separate line item, not all the components. You are also able to assemble or disassemble the assembly list, or even to replace some of the components of it. Again, if something need be replaced, or we recently developed the ability to, and the feature to purchase the whole assembly list, including all the components. But we'll talk about this a little bit later. Yes, that's actually one of the tools that allows you to export your Excel spreadsheet with all the components that should be assigned to assembly list, and the system will automatically build an assembly list with these components and bring everything together, and then you just start using these assemblies in your system. So it simplifies your setup process, and you just skip lots of manual enterings and manual operations in the system. So it's kind of automation tool in the system. So the difference between combo units and assemblies is that combo unit, as I already said, is used for a specific job. So you need to assign individual unit numbers or asset numbers on the rental tickets, but assembly is used for the multiple jobs because it's already been built with preset components and different equipment on that. And also you can easily build a combo unit for each job, but assembly allows you to move it easily between different jobs. Another useful module in the system that is used by many light towers and generators companies is a subrental module, because you can take the equipment from the third-party providers and track that equipment in your system as your equipment, but you will see also the owner of this equipment. And this module allows you also to track your incoming fees from the rent company that you rent equipment out of, and also you will be able to compare that with the rental fees that you charge your clients with. So subrental agreement sets all these prices, and then some subrental tickets in and out brings this equipment to your stocks or inventory. And also a number of reports shows you the subrental analysis, like how equipment operates, what is the utilization rate of this subrented equipment, and what is the profitability on these operations with the subrented equipment. Now let's move on, and let me pass the mic to Michael Maltsov. He will explain special surface equipment operations in RigER and shed a little bit of light on the newest developments in RigER system.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Gleb. And let's talk about surface equipment operations. Very complex operations started from the different statuses of the equipment when you have reservation or racked and deployed and inspection and repairs in the same job. So let's consider this as a single cycle of the particular job. So ready to rent status, when we do the reservation, we reserve a particular unit number to the particular job, and after that they can move equipment to the field through the delivery ticket. However, usually it takes time, a couple of days, maybe a day, to set up everything and start generating the revenue. And we separate two different dates when we send equipment to the location and when we start to generate the revenue. And both days we can use in the delivery ticket. And after that, we have the rental period, which is a standard thing. And it could be after job inspection, and the worst case scenario when we require repairs, then after this inspection card, we can generate the repair card. And when we finish the repair card, so our unit ready to rent again. So this is a very complex process where you can use 4 different documents to track the entire cycle. Not all the companies use that. However, sometimes it could be a very, very complex. Another thing which we recently added to RigER was purchase by components. When you build a unit by yourself, build the rental unit by yourself, purchasing different components. So you purchase components, they become ready to rent status, then you build an assembly list and build them together. And optionally, it could be inspection card or quality control checkup checklist when you finalize the assembly and move equipment to ready to rent status. So this is one of the way how you can purchase equipment. Another way, when you purchase equipment as an assembly unit, where you can purchase the whole unit and then you need to split it to the different components and track them separately, because and the reason why we do that, because we can have a different service period for different components. So they are serialized. They could be a warranty period from the vendor or manufacturer. So that is why we need to track this separately. So, and through that, we start everything as well from the bill of lading. Then we do the assembly list. By the assembly list, we call it a special assembly list splitting. Through that splitting process, we add new components to the system. Another thing which we added for mostly for the surface companies is a rental units reservation. So we debating a couple years how we need to do the reservation, and finally we decided that we will do the reservation by particular serial numbers and assign a particular serial numbers for the particular job. So usually It could be pre-job inspection, or when you decided that this job will require a particular number of units, then you start reserve and collect them on the particular part of the yard, whatever. And after that, you just start moving them to the field using delivery tickets. And reservation note can work both ways. So you can reserve item and you can unreserve item if the situation changed or the client decide to order a different quantity or something like that. So the entire reservation note definitely works on the particular shop. So you can set up the reserve for a specific job. That is why we have a rental service agreement here, particular client, particular location. So, and you need to select a particular unit number, which we will use for the job. So, and definitely identify the quantity of the units you'd like to reserve this particular day. Another way the company wants to do to make sure that they provided a smooth operations and there is no interactions with the service. They like to have a backup fleet, the number of units where they ready to go, and if something goes wrong in the field, they just send this particular unit to the location and swap the failure unit. So to do that, we identify the units which we will recognize as a backup and put them a separate status backup, so they will be ready to rent and they will be ready to go. It can be used in the rental ticket service to the swap of the failure unit. So the entire backups and all the statuses of the units you can see in the activity log dashboard, which is a new addition to the RigER as well. So you can see all your units by different categories, filter them by departments, sales area, unit numbers, statuses, you name it. And based on that, you can see the preventive maintenance cycles, preventive maintenance period. So next PM, last PM, next PM date. So, and based on that, you can start and generate preventive maintenance cards for to provide the preventive maintenance to the units. That's probably everything. So I'd like to pass the mic to Gleb, talking about inspections of preventive maintenance.
Thank you very much, Michael. Before we go to the next topic, which is inspection, repair, and maintenance, I just want to ask you that if you have some questions during this webinar, please don't hesitate to submit us these questions through the chat tool or just in the Q&A part of this Zoom session. So we'll be able to answer your questions a little bit later, maybe closer to the end of this webinar. So let's continue, and definitely all the equipment that is used in the operations in the oil field requires lots of repairs and maintenance. It works intensively, so all these supportive functions should be also be available in the system, in the operations management system. And we have these abilities because we provide you with the inspection, repairs, and maintenance modules, which are set up separately from the general operations, but they are integrated in your operation process on the step-by-step process, on the stages approach. So in terms of the inspection of the equipment that is working on the client's location, we have inspection cards that can be generated automatically by the system whenever you end your job and you do the return ticket. And if you have and you preset the inspection templates, then inspection cards are generated based on that template. And template has a specific equipment tab that you can pre-build the checklist for particular types of the rental items. Depending on the result of the initial inspection, the unit can be moved to the ready to rent status or available status, and the next job can get this equipment. Or if the equipment has been inspected and it's recognized as the broken, then the system and user can generate a repair ticket and get this equipment repaired in the system and marked as needed repair. So this equipment will not be available for the next job until it gets repaired. And also we have a second level of the inspection, which is quality control. So I just want to briefly show you how the examples of the inspection templates look like. These are designed for the light towers and man lifts. So these are the very flexible and useful tools, because you can preset your own checklist with your own questions and types of answers or types of information that should be input in this inspection card. So, and also you can select the trigger that will generate this inspection card. It can be delivery ticket, or it can be return ticket, or it can be maintenance service ticket. So different documents, including the bill of lading and purchase documents, can trigger this inspection stage of the operations. As I already said, we have two levels of the inspection process, and the second level is the quality control. So usually what happens when companies use these two-level stages, they do the initial inspection when the equipment just shuts down on the site, or it just the work is ended and you need to return the equipment. So the first and initial inspection is done at the client's location, and then the quality control stage will be done when you return your equipment to the shop, and usually it's more thorough inspection with a deep level of checking of some kind of condition of the equipment. And again, as I said, if the equipment needs repair, you can generate the repair cards as a single documents for every single piece of equipment, but also you have an ability to track all your repairs on a one screen, which is the repair dashboard. And you may even set the priority for the repairs, and whoever is responsible for the repairs, either it's a service manager in the shop or it's a dispatcher, they will see how the repairs go, and they can actually manipulate these documents right here on the dashboard, set the repair date and time, and if equipment is good, then this repair card line will just come off from the list, and you will have all your active repairs available on the screen. So as Michael already said, the activity log dashboard will also show you the maintenance events for the equipment. So if the equipment is moved to the maintenance or inspection process, it will be marked as a separate status. And on that dashboard, you can also set the preventive maintenance hours, last hours, next hours will be calculated automatically by the system. And also it can be done for the dates. So that is very useful for the dispatchers and operations personnel as well. In terms of the maintenance module, right now we're updating our whole maintenance module with a new functionality and improved workflows. So you will be able to preset your maintenance schedules for different types of equipment, and also you will be able to build a list of services that should be done for a particular equipment, and also include the checklists in these maintenance records or templates. And then once you set the schedule based on what the equipment should be maintained, you will be able to receive notifications sent by the system automatically. So if you will be if you will need to get these notifications, for example, 2 weeks prior to the maintenance event, the system will send this notification automatically. Or you'll be able to build a whole report that will show what comes in this week or next week for the maintenance. And also definitely there will be different triggers based on which the system will calculate the next maintenance event, either by date or some kind of parameter like mileage or working hours, etc. So these modules coming soon, so stay tuned and we will update you once it's ready. So we'll probably host another webinar to present this newly updated maintenance module, and let's just stay in touch in this regard. And also another document that is available in your configuration is the intercompany transfer, because it allows you to move equipment between your locations if you operate in the multiple yards or warehouses. So you're able to move the equipment from one shop to another one, set particular asset numbers, and if you also track the home departments for the equipment, these can be changed as well by the system. Now let's talk a little bit about the special reports that are available for the light towers and generator configurations. Definitely all the reports that you have in the RigER system will be also available, but I just want to pay attention to the special reports that are designed specifically for this type of equipment. So generator statuses report will show you your generators quantities for different locations where your equipment is stored, and also based on the kilowatts or power of your equipment. And as you may see, you can also see the total power of the whole units, and they are broken down also by different statuses. Another report that is useful is the weekly equipment report, because it shows you on a weekly basis for the weekly time period the statuses of the equipment and also utilization by quantity. And it can also break down the information by divisions if you have this feature enabled in your configuration, all your deliveries and returns or fire-ups and shutdowns. And also if you reserve something for the next jobs, it also will be shown as the separate table. Need repair report shows you all the units that are in the need repair status right now. So you keep track of your repairs. And the technical report actually accommodates all the events that are happened with the particular asset number, if it's a repair or it's an inspection or some kind of service or maintenance to the equipment. So you can analyze your technical history of the unit, so how it's been maintained or treated by the companies and clients. And based on that information, you can make your decisions, what kind of charges you need to apply to the customer jobs, maybe for the future jobs, or maybe to provide some kind of different pricing. Okay, now we've come to our Q&A session, and I will be glad to answer your question if you have something. Nikolai, did you get?
Yes. Thank you, Gleb, and thank you, Michael. That's been a higher level overview of the RigER for the light towers and generators. And we have a couple of questions. So one is, I think they're maybe from the same person. It's anonymous attendee. So is there a specific place where I can find instructions on how to create combo units, sub-rentals, inspection, and repair accounts? I understand the system has the capability to do all this, but I would like to step-by-step instructions on how to set up and use these features properly so everything works correctly. That's the first question.
Yes, absolutely. So I will take that. Great question. And the simple answer is a knowledge base. So we have a full description of all our operations and all the entire database configuration description in the knowledge base. However, I would say that if you're debating between what kind of type of the complex unit you need to use, assemblies, combo units, or package. So in this case, I would say that we need to talk a little bit.
Yes. So the answer is that to find instructions, we basically need to have a conversation first to guide you properly to be able to set it up later on your own. So because systems sometimes can be maybe too overwhelming, especially if you're a starting user, so to speak. So we expect that you are a current user. So please do reach out to us.
And the
any number.
easiest and universal answer for this question would be support@rigger.us. So just send a short email to the support, and they will provide you a link to the knowledge base, and you will see that.
So then the next question, thank you, Michael. So email at support@rigger.us, and you'll hear from us immediately. So the next question is, I would assume from the same person, is this: do you guys have a RigER process and procedures handbook or guide that has instructions on how to use and set up each aspect or function that system can do? So that's that's kind of a derivative, I guess, of the same question, and the same answer would be. But go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, let me address that question, because on top of what Michael said in terms of the knowledge base that is available for all our users, and it's free of charge for all the users, you can also use our RigER Academy, which is the modern online education system for you. So you have online courses with video recordings explaining how to use the system properly. And it doesn't only give you the understanding how to use proper particular functions of the system, but it also provides you with the best practices and our expertise and consulting on how to operate in the oil field as a business. So you'll get this best knowledge from the industry, how to actually structure your business, how to operate more efficiently, and how software helps you run your business smoothly and more efficiently.
So Gleb, my question, I guess, as a follow-on this one, is that how does one get access to the RigER Academy?
Yeah, RigER Academy is available to all the RigER users. So if you are the existing client of us, just reach us out and we'll provide a access to all your newly hired maybe users of RigER or existing ones. So yeah, just let us know if you need this access.
And another way where we can share our experience and we can explain how to use this or that, it's our webinars. This is what we do right now.
Yes, so to get the access, if you're a client of ours and a user of RigER, please do send an email again to the email support@rigger.us, and we'll set you up for that one as well. Oh, that's a good question, so thank you very much. Definitely there's a need to be able to set up, so we'll make sure that we can provide all those resources to you. I think I don't have any more questions right now. It's been pretty light as far as the content, but the most important questions have been asked, so we expect an email then shortly, and then we'll provide you with an access. However, on the same note, we wanted to move actually to another slide where we wanted to introduce you again that we've been will be in a number of different conferences and venues where you can actually meet in person with us throughout this year. Specifically, there's going to be a lot of them, and the next one will be in Fort Worth in April, then will be Midland, then will be Wichita Falls, and then there's going to be Houston as well. So please do, if you are at one of those events, we're more than welcome to see you at our booth and interact and ask as many questions as we need. And again, at those events, not only we present what we're used to the future users, but we love to interact with current users and do a lot of the on-site kind of conversations and maybe on trainings if need be. So that's the second part of the year now. So we've now gone into the June through December. So we'll be again in Wyoming, in Texas again, in Houston, Odessa, San Antonio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So there's more opportunities for those of you who are listening to us today to connect with us in person at those events. So again, reach out to us through the social media or in person or by the phone, and let's schedule a conversation if you want of us in person. So on that note, I'm just checking once more if there's any other questions that we need to answer, and I don't see that there are any more. So we will expect to hear from you who've been asking the questions today at support@RigER.us, and we'll be answering those little, providing you with the access to the systems and additional information in the offline mode. So thank you very much for joining us today, and we will look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you
so much.
Goodbye.